Okay, it's too cold here. How is the weather there in Kashmir, Mr. Suhail?
Yeah, it's freezing outside. It's freezing. I think most of the things around me has already frozen. So yeah, it's kind of challenge to get up early in the morning. Yeah, because
Okay,
everything is
sorry for that.
no, it's fine. We love it. It's fine how because we this is how it is. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
relationship
not
between
as
Kashmir and music is very special. So let's start this session with some music.
yeah, sure.
Deepak ji.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Dheeraj who gave me this opportunity. So I'm going to play Kal Ho Na Ho song, which
Please.
is the movie from Kal Ho Na Ho.
Perfect,
Thank you.
perfect to start off this morning. Okay, let's
Thanks a
start
lot.
our conversation now. I just want to read one line from my book, then I will start our conversation with Mr. Suhail Mehraj. We always have to take decisions which are going to give a positive impact in someone else's life. So I want to ask you, Mr. Mehraj, you delivered one speech at UN Youth Assembly on how to enhance education in developing nations. So tell us something about that and share your experience with us.
Yeah, it was a very delight, to speak in the audience. Like, I mean, for me, what was very much important is like I had worked for that speech. I mean, it was more of experience for me. I mean, that speech didn't came like I had to work for it. Like, for example, like you do, like usually, like you go and you give speech. But for that, I mean, it was more of my experience that it was actually. So, uh, it had a basis with my initiative that I started when I was in school. I was in class 11th. I was a student of when I was a student at the age of 14, I started an initiative here in Kashmir for the first generation learners. Because if you go and if you look to the social demography and if you precisely look to the education, you'll find that the learning level is very pathetic in the Kashmir at all. So a class 10 student has not a learning level of class 4th. So what was very much disappointing for me that I would go and I would interact with these kids, small kids, school going kids, and these college going kids. And I mean, for me, it was very shocking to hear from them. Like for example, if you go to a kid and if you say him, okay, fine. What is the spelling for apple? Like for example, it's been the examples like these are the cases here that he would say, no, I have no idea about it. So I mean, although this thing has a basis to it, like because we are not able to give quality of education to our kids in the school, and the school infrastructure in Kashmir is literally not up mark. And the big factor for this deprivedness that we have in education is the conflict, the ongoing conflict. Because for the most of the time, your schools are shut, your institutions are shut, and that is the big basis to this staticness, and you have that in the education sector. So we tried it for 3 months, 3 years actually. First, we started for 3 months, and then we took a gap in that initiative. So we got 250 students enrolled in this initiative, and then first they were not able to read and write, but after our constant efforts, now you'll find them in schools. I mean, they are the great agents of change because we try to train them as change makers, uh, passing good ideas, making them independent, just making them very critical thinkers. So yeah, that was the whole idea. Like, so I was invited to deliver a speech about my initiative because it was very hard for somebody like me who was in school to start an initiative. And back then now, if you ask me now, it's very easy for me because now I'm a grown up. It's very, I have been like uh, doing lots of initiatives like such in the present time. But then it was literally a big thing because at that time I had to manage a lot of things. So I had to manage my studies, and I had to manage a lot of things at home, and on the same time we were constrained with the resources. And then the second thing is like, I think a lot of things are being uh, not actually motivated in Kashmir for some reason. I mean, there has been always uh, political willing with it, and so it was not appreciated that much by the people around here, because it had a lot of forces around it that still didn't want us to leave that image. The still, they want us to be still rooted to the same thing. Yeah, it was about it. Yes.
I just want to add something from my book uh, in your answer. One of my stranger is from Kashmir, and I'm just reproducing his words. No, it is just news about curfew for you there in Delhi. But only those who are residing and living in Kashmir can understand that what is the impact, how it affects and result of this kind of situation. Those students who are not being able to attend school and those who are unable to read all chapters of all subjects can understand the loss. So it's like we cannot imagine the mental stress of the school going students. You want to add something in that?
I mean, perfectly. Like the person has said it very well. I mean, it's been very tough, very arduous for everybody living in Kashmir. Like, especially in recent times. But I think now the big challenge for us should be, how do we motivate these kids? How do we motivate these youth? What we do to facilitate this young energy? I mean, how what we do to encourage them towards these institutions and towards creativity and towards innovation. I think a more of impetus is on the youth of India actually now to turn to this part of India and to really look to the interest of people of Kashmir and their aspirations in real sense, and keeping the possibility in hand, and to work with them, and to really make them feel like, I mean, it's their dream. I think that needs to be done. I mean, I've been always telling, like, it's not only the people of Kashmir who have to come forward. I mean, I'm telling you, people of Kashmir are ready always. We are ready to cooperate. So what are you giving to us? What is the, I mean, it has been always, Delhi has been always to the center of opinions, decisions. What is the new Delhi doing for these kids? I mean, you said this stranger said to you it's been curfews and all. It's not only been curfews. It's you have to look to the stories. I mean, you'll find these enormous stories in the Kashmir in itself, where people are deprived of all the rights, all the rights in sense. For example, I have been meeting student delegations here. Like, people come to me. I mean the small things. For example, there's problems are very common in rest of India also, but here it's been, I mean, propagated for a different reason. I don't know why people are pushed to suffer. I mean, there is enormous corruption, and people do not have a saying into it. If people start saying about it, I don't know, it gets really unmeaningful. I've been always appealing to the people of India, to the youth of India, these, like, for example, to spend their time to come down here in Kashmir and to see the reality of things, and to get involved in the community building here, and to feel the pain. Maybe I think a part of it is like, I mean, you will find lots of shyness in Kashmiri people, and they are now literally uncooperative with sort of things. It's been what has been done to us in the recent past. Like, we were promised something, and then something else was done, and all our decisions were never taken on board. I think if you really want to change the big picture, you need to come down from Delhi and need to work down in Kashmir for some time and to see the reality actually. Yes.
Okay, so you are the one youth who is not only doing blaming or complaining about the situation was, but also you are doing things in the ground level. You are also running education
Raza,
awareness
I
program.
would like to add here one thing is I think, I mean, I've been always talking about possibility with the both ends, getting them on the table, and then finding solutions to the problem. I'm not discussing the problem. I'm discussing the solution to the problem. I mean, it's always better we talk about the solution and then go with it. I would tell you, like, it's more of a giving possibility to the solution. If you have a possibility, if you are giving possibility to the people, I think you are creating a hope, enormous hope in the people, and they would be ready to work with you. They would be ready uh, to put their dreams into your plan. But
That
I
is
mean,
important.
you need, yeah, that's really important actually. Yes.
I was saying that you are also doing great work at ground level. You are not only blaming and complaining, but you are doing work. That is important. So you are also running education awareness program there. So tell us something about that.
I mean, education programs, it's been always more about getting people involved in our initiatives, like getting these young kids from college, from schools involved in your initiatives, so that they are able to take independent initiatives, like I did in the past time. Let them decide their own protocols, their own, you know goals, but what's very much important, you are getting them involved into it, and they are like looking to the possibility of it. What is the possibility? Like, for example, in the recent time, we started lots of counseling sessions in Kashmir here, where we would go to these school pass outs, and then we would talk to them. We would give them plans about their future, because most of the people, like 90% or 80% of the kids, like who come out of the school, they have no plans what to do after that. Usually, like, they join any common college here, or they go with the flow. So, but I try to build up the interest in them, what the real interest is, and what are the opportunities. I try to link them with expertise around the world. And for example, and they had lots of queries, like in these counseling sessions, like these kids would come to me with the solution. So, for example, a kid came to me, and he's like, look, see, brother, I this is a problem we have in Kashmir, but I have a solution for this. Kid came to me, I think, as a student of class 10. So he said, if we go with this way, for example, he said, we'll go with this way, uh, it has a solution. I told him, no, this is not the solution. I put him in realistic boats, and I told him, like, you go and you just be in these boats and see what is the reality, what people have done in the past time. This thing has no future at all. This thing has no, it's, and then I felt it, like, now the kid had changed his mind about so many things. So in this way, I was able to save a life. I was able to save a family from lots of mysteries and lots of misery. I think you just need to build I mean, it is really difficult for New Delhi to build interest, like, and trust among people now. But I think a try is not a bad. If you try, it's not bad. Maybe people turn up to you. Like, Kashmiri people has been always open to it, and I think if you do something in the way, might something might happen. Yes.
Okay, as we are talking about future and challenges, let's go to Deepak ji. आप एक प्रोफेशनल म्यूजिशियन हैं, मिस्टर दीपक. सो कैसे म्यूजिशियन को अपने लाइफ में अपना प्रोफेशन बनाया आपने?
जी मिस्टर धीरज जी, हाँ, मैं जैसा कि एक म्यूजिकल एनवायरनमेंट में पला बढ़ा, तो बचपन से ही मेरे चाचा जी वो म्यूजिशियन हैं, एक दिल्ली के बहुत अच्छे पियानिस्ट में उनका नाम शुमार है. तो मैं उनको देखता था बचपन में, और वही मेरी इंस्पिरेशन बने. तो मुझे तभी लगा कि मुझे भी म्यूजिक प्रोफेशन में लाना चाहिए. तो और उनकी गाइडेंस में मैं चला, और अभी मैं कर रहा हूँ म्यूजिक, और आई एम एंजॉयिंग आल्सो.
फाइनेंशियली इतना आसान है म्यूजिक को अपना प्रोफेशन बनाना? बिकॉज म्यूजिक के बिना, मिस्टर सुहेल इज आल्सो अवेयर दैट म्यूजिक तो हर किसी के जीवन का एक पार्ट है, पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ लाइफ है.
Yeah.
बट क्या
Yes. It,
क्या फाइनेंशियली भी म्यूजिक के साथ हम अपना फ्यूचर बना सकते हैं, स्पेशली इन इंडिया?
हाँ जी, अब हम बहुत प्राउडली हम ये कह सकते हैं कि एक म्यूजिक में एक उज्जवल भविष्य है. म्यूजिक कोई भी अभी परस्यू करता है. पहले अर्लियर टाइम्स ये थोड़ा कठिन था बोलना कि म्यूजिक को हम परस्यू करें या म्यूजिक को अपना प्रोफेशन बनाएं, क्योंकि एक सामाजिक नजरिए से भी देखना देखना होता था, और समाज में इसे वो संगीत को वो वरीयता प्राप्त नहीं थी, तो प्राथमिकता लोग नहीं देते थे ज्यादा. तो बट लेकिन अब जैसे जैसे म्यूजिक हमें देखने को मिलता है, म्यूजिक में इतना ग्रोथ और सब चीजें ऑप्शंस हैं हमारे पास म्यूजिक में कई सारे. तो इससे मैं प्राउडली कह सकता हूँ कि म्यूजिक को अपना प्रोफेशन बनाने में कोई भी हिचक नहीं है, कोई भी संकोच नहीं होना चाहिए आज के टाइम में. तो
Great, great. So, Mr. Mehraj, you are also working as advisor in UNDP, and you are UN youth advocate. So, for those who are not aware about these institutions, can you please tell us something about them?
I think, first of all, as I said it earlier, like, for me, I had first no interest working with UN or with the UNDP. So I was like very much precisely interested in working with these young people in Kashmir, with this young energy in Kashmir. I mean, for me, I see these young people, the big institutions of change. So if you look up to the India, I mean, if you really want to work in India and you want to change the big picture, you want to change that social demography in India. And I think you had the big institutions for us are these young energy. Either they are read or unread, like they are literates or illiterates. So both of the cases, like you have some people, like, because not everybody has an opportunity to get educated, like to get education here in India. Like not so many people, because I've been meeting people, it's very hard for them to feed themselves, and they run out of school. I mean, they are not in the school. I think for us, it's very much important. Like we utilize that young energy. We put it in our plan for a bright future, for a better tomorrow. Yes, institutions like UN, like they have been working around, the importance of UN and UNDP. I think for me, I was very delightful to work with these institutions. I had a literally a great experience helping people around, solving these conflicts. I was involved in uh, lots of meditation, mediation processes around the world. Like recently, we had this Azerbaijan and this Armenia thing, so we were also involved into it. So that way, we were able to help outsiders, like people who are not familiar with us, and that way we were able to connect ourselves. Yes, I mean, people should really think big and think about connecting themselves with these institutions. You have a great for because now the total change, the total theme of world had changed. Before 10 years back, I think the global module world was literally challenge for so many countries. Like people would not first of all accept the global paradigm of world, but now everybody has accepted it, and uh, people are happy about it. This exchange has helped people. So I think people should think about cosmopolitan culture now, because I think this world is growing more of a one nation now. I mean, our problems are getting one solutions and all. Like for example, you talk about climate change. It's we all face, so last time you had elections going in United States, and you had people in India like talking about it. It was else we had no connection with it. So it means everything has an effect on us. I think, yeah, surely we should young people should, and these institutions are for the young institution, for young energy, for young minds. I mean, and I would like to add one thing. There's enormous talent in India. Seriously, you'll find the enormous culture of creativity in India. That's what we are rich in. When I go and when I interact with people in like in outside the state. I mean, in Kashmir, it's up. It's very more, great. It's very enormous. I mean, the young energy. Seriously, I mean, you had not an opportunity to come down here in Kashmir and to interact with these. When you go and when you really interact, like, come on. I mean, uh, everybody is a Newton. Everybody's an Einstein. Seriously, I mean, if you go and if you start talking to them, they have solutions to your problems. But we just need to channelize it. The big challenge for us is like, how would we facilitate and how would we channelize it?
What
What the previous
how can we utilize this creative minds?
I think it's more of a facilitation. Like as I said, like there has been a lot of unwillingness from the government of India always to facilitate this young energy. Oh, well, now you would say how? Because I mean, there's been always a lot of money, a lot of resources coming down to Kashmir. I think these young people were never made part to it. A decision process. I mean, these young people were never given a part to it. What has the government of India and the government of, I mean, we had a previous government in Kashmir. What has that done for these young, for the facilitation of these young kids? Nothing. I mean, it's not the case here only. What in the mainland India also. Now the world is getting young. What is the what are our governments doing for us? Do they have any plan to facilitate this young energy, who are willing to give their time, who are willing to give their energy for the future? I mean, most of the times, I'm like literally disappointed when I meet these people, when I meet this young people here, and they're like, I mean, they have solution to the problem, but the people are not ready to cooperate with them. They're not being given a proper space. I think the big struggle or change that we should look forward in India is for making a space for young energy where they are able to think. I mean, the best endorsement the government of India, if they wish to do in India, should be to endorse a free space, a free space for young people in India, for young people in India, where they are able to think critically, and that needs to be done, and I'm sure about it. This is not a dream. I mean, we have shown it, and we have perceived it, and we'll do it. We'll create a free space in India, in everywhere, and we'll help people around the globe to create a free space where they are independent of their thinking and taking their decisions. And because world is ours, I mean, the time is ours. You have the young population growing in every country now. It's not only in India. It's not only in Kashmir. You take the whole globe. It's growing up, and so the problems are getting young, and the young people can only have the solutions to these problems. Actually, yes.
Okay, so online classes during lockdown is a new initiative. So, do you think online classes would be better alternative for Kashmir, especially during winters?
I mean, it's very unfortunate. It's quite of challenging for these kids to have access to internet still here in Kashmir. When there's no internet available, how I'm going to tell a kid to motivate himself for education? What I mean, last time, I wrote about it. I said, like, it's fine, you have challenge, you have whatever you call it, issues, but kindly give access to these kids to these Zoom classes or whatever small platforms. We can make small channels, to facilitate it. But I mean, we have only
So,
two
no online
restrictions.
classes are going on.
Online classes are like they have gone started with these online classes, but uh where is the speed, where is the internet? I mean, the internet is literally down. It's the speed is 2G. When the world is talking about creativity and going to the Mars, like sending humans to the Mars, and here in Kashmir you don't have good internet speed. I mean, there might be challenge to it, to the government. Them, I'm not telling like they don't have, but what is the instance, what is the substitute? I mean, for example, if you have a problem, if you are like generalizing it, and then do not get everybody affected by it, do not get everybody affected it. I mean, we had this issue three this online classes and all. I mean, we have been demanding that internet should be restored, like high 4G internet should be restored in Kashmir, and so that these kids can have access to the internet, and they could explore the possibilities, they could learn, they could endorse their learning. But nothing. I mean, it's been now. I mean, it's just like, did you heard anything about it? Like, uh, did you heard it from anybody like the internet is good here or something like that? No. Everybody complains about it. Everybody complains about it, that we can make a good future, but then where is the opportunity? So they feel like, they have been drowned into it. They are being pushed into it.
Let's hope for the best. Any message for young Kashmiris, because education is the only weapon, for the change. What is your message for Kashmiris or all the youth of the country?
I mean, for the country of youth, we have been going through very tough times. The COVID has like deprived us with lots of opportunities here. It has shut down lots of species where we could grow. Actually, now we have to try, we have to give a try creating great species and helping people around. And India is ours, this country belongs to us. People worked for it really hard in the meantime, like in lately, and we had whatever little we had in our hands, but it was fine for us. And now it's time for us to grow India. India doesn't grow in the parliament of India. It grows in every house of country, and in every heart of young people, in every young heart. I think it's more, I mean, if you plan for India, you have to look, if you look are really precisely looking for how do we plan for India. So just endorse these young kids, endorse youth. I mean, they are the planners, they are the great planners and the great architectures of this country. They would lead us tomorrow. And I think my message to the government of India is like, this is the best time to invest in youth energy, facilitating their ideas, their creativity, offering them space. And for Kashmir, on the Kashmir perspective, I would like to add, I would like to tell in the Delhi one thing. I mean, it's still not the worst. It's still not the worst. There is, I mean, there was always scope, and there is scope to change the things, to change the big picture. Now let's see how what is the state of willingness you have. If you are willing, we are ready.
Let's
We are
hope.
ready to
Let's
cooperate.
hope. Let's hope and pray for the best. We are having only 2 or 3 minutes. Any favorite Bollywood song?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think from the South Days movie. Yeah,
So,
Is a Desh Hai Mera.
yeah.
Okay. Let's Deepak ji.
okay.
Great, great, great. I just want to conclude, Mr. Deepak ji. Thank you for playing this song. Uh, I just want
Thank
to
you.
add one thing, Mr. Mehraj. You are doing great work. You are inspiring you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
for motivating everyone. Thank you, Deepak ji. Thank you.
Thank
See
you,
you
Thank
Mr.
later.
you.
Dheeraj.
I hope we will meet
Yeah,
again.
pleasure. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Right.